But Israel, you know, people can be whatever they want to be in Israel. They don't have to believe in God. In fact, it's a small, the Orthodox, the people who really believe the Old Testament, Judaism.
And
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I was curious as to why a criticism of the Israeli government is labeled anti-Semitic. When you're not criticizing the Jewish faith, you're criticizing the people running the country. And I guess my last point, and I'll hang up and listen to your answer on the air, is
but wait, before you hang up, now you're the John that we've been talking to a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And you're not even a Christian, right?
Well, I am a spiritualist. I lean more towards the belief of our native people that well.
I just wanted to make that point clear to the others. That's all. Go ahead.
As I told you probably on the previous shows or on the phone, it's the organized religions that corrupt the faith of the people that believe in a spiritual sense of a creator. And so when a person pins themselves wholeheartedly and narrow-mindedly to one religion, forsaking all others who might believe in a God only in a different way, then that's where problems begin. But my final point is, would the God of the Jews forgive the soldier who places in his sights, in the crosshairs of his sights, a 2-year-old child who is clearly not a terrorist, and then pulls the trigger? Would that God forgive that soldier operating on the orders of his government to
well, hold on. John, I want you to come back, so I don't want you to hang up. I don't know of any moral government that would say kill a 2-year-old. You know, why would you shoot a 2-year-old? I mean, God would deplore that. The God of the Bible, God I know, would deplore that. So you know, the God of Israel is never gonna. I mean, He's not gonna be for it. You know, I don't understand where that comes from.
The government that controls that soldier doesn't punish that soldier. Therefore, if you criticize the government of that soldier, you're labeled an anti-Semite, and that's where I have problems. If we can't...
What I'm saying is there aren't any Jews that follow the Bible or Christians that follow the Bible. So you're setting up a situation that is not... You don't have a Jewish soldier or a Christian soldier holding that rifle. So there is no God from our understanding. There's one God, and so it's all distorted.
Well, you have somebody operating under the government, and when you criticize the government... especially in Israel, you're labeled an anti-Semite. And I wish that we could begin to hold the government of Israel accountable without being labeled anti-Semite.
Well, we do. We criticize Jewish politicians. I mean, we have no problem doing that. Christians don't. Jews don't. Jews disagree among themselves. So I think that goes on all the time, where there's wrongdoing and it needs to be redressed, and that's what being truthful is and honest is all about.
And John, what's incredible to me through all of this is if you really take a look at the way the government dictates and runs things there in Israel, you can see the sovereign hand of God protecting them through their own debased thinking. It's just absolutely incredible evidence to me. You look at the Yom Kippur War. You know, you have just study the nation Israel itself, and they don't believe in the Messiah. The Judaism doesn't believe in the Messiah, but yet there's God who promised He would take care of them. He would make them a nation again, and He would reveal Himself to the world through the nation Israel. It's absolutely incredible to me. Despite their sin, despite my sin, and the way we turn, there's God with fulfilling His promises.
Before you run, John, I want to bounce this question off of you, and we'll have a continuing conversation on this, is this 100% supernatural prophecy. I mean, if someone could tell the future 100% of the time, would you agree that's supernatural?
Well, are you talking about revelations in the Bible then?
I'm just throwing out a general question. We get, of course we're focused in one area, but a general question is, if some being could tell the future and never be wrong. Say, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. You know, list 100 things that are going to happen and have 100 of them right and never be wrong. Isn't that supernatural? Or can a human, or can there, do you know of any being who can do that?
Well, I suppose if you dig deep enough, people could ascribe reality to things Nostradamus wrote, or they could ascribe, you know, they could label all kinds of people.
Not really, John. I come from a Jewish background. I didn't want to believe in Jesus. You know, that causes Jews a lot of grief if you believe in Jesus from your families. And Jesus talked about that too. So I didn't really want to go there. So I was into Nostradamus as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I've read his, you know, quatrains.
Yeah.
And they are so vague.
Well,
There's hardly
and
any of them that
mean.
make sense. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, and Muhammad is the prophet of the Muslims, and the you know, Jesus is the depending on your religion is either a prophet or a Messiah, and so you got me there. I got to
well,
say,
think about
I'm going to have to ponder.
Go ahead. Okay.
I'll have to ponder that one.
Hey, John.
Good.
Was Muhammad prophesied about?
What was he foreseen to come before he arrived?
The day he was going to be born, what kind of a man he was going to be, the things that he was going to teach, was he ever prophesied about?
Well, not having read Revelations, I'm sure he's in there somewhere.
He's not. That's my whole point, John. You have really two religious views here as far as Islam and Christianity. Muhammad is their leader. Jesus is the Christian leader. Only one of them was prophesied about, and it was prophesied with 100% accuracy. That to me is evidence that's overwhelming and refutes anything Muhammad says, because no one ever prophesied about who he was. Other than Jesus talking about false Christs that will come in his place.
Well, you gave me something to think about.
Well, this convinced us. This ended up real.
It's something to think about,
It convinced Isaac Newton, Michael Faraday, Robert Boyle, virtually all the founders of every branch of science who understood probability mathematics. And those guys were not fools. They said this, they staked their reputation. They said, this is 100% fulfillment of prophecy. Can't happen in the natural.
Now that I've had at least a couple of minutes to think about it, there are many First Nation prophets, I suppose would be the word used in this show, who foresaw the coming of white people long before a white person ever set foot on this continent.
Well, that's one prophecy, but we're talking about...
No. That is one, but there are many others.
How many others have come true in comparison to the hundreds we can talk about from the Bible?
Well, I'll have to do the research and get back to you.
Gave you an assignment. Take your time, one at a time.
I do thank you so much for your show, and thank you for allowing me to state my opinion.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And Barrett will be with you in just a sec, just to maybe finish a little bit about what John was talking about. Yeah, there was a Native American that prophesied about the coming white man. Did he prophesy that white man would come in and destroy his nation?
Maybe. They may have something like that, that's possible. But you don't have
But that's a general...
And it's not written down. It's say so. But, I mean, this is amazing. You've got a book.
We have written...
And we've got actual parchment, goat's skin that Jesus could have held in his own hands in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Most of that Old Testament there, and they've got every book represented in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Jesus could have held it. It goes back 2,000 or more years.
Yeah, and to tie that in real quick, you had prophets that came, gave prophecies about the future came, and then you have those parchments found 1,000 years after that, proving that everything that was said and written was true.
Yeah, that hadn't changed. At least it hadn't changed, and so we can show that, this was said before it happened. It happened.
And again, God doesn't, he said, my word will not return to me void.
There it is.
And to those that want the evidence, to want truth, it's there.
It is. And, that's the question we've put to Barrett, and I'm going to put it again to you, Barrett. Barrett's on the line, and Barrett's called, over the last couple of years several times, and